Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, friends. I'm Julie. I'm here live with my friend Dana, who is the expert on everything monthly donor programs. And we're here just to chat about how monthly donor programs and major donor programs work so well together, PB&J. And Dana is someone who I respect deeply and admire and love spending time with and picking her brain. She is just brilliant and the very best at what she does. And I
Okay.
refer my clients to work with her when they're really serious about building a solid monthly donor program. So I'm so excited for this chat. Thanks so much for joining me, Dana.
All of it right back at you. And I think one of the coolest things is that we can actually say we've met in real life and can actually be friends and hung out and stayed at the same like hotel at the Make It Happen conference, which feels like just yesterday and a million years ago. I don't
And
know
a
how you
million
feel.
years ago, yes. I'm like, I need to go back to that. Let's do the
It was
retreat.
this spring, by the way, for everyone. It was like a few months ago in reality.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy. And you have so much going on that I'm really excited to jump in and talk about. Let's jump in. Like you
Yeah.
have this amazing summit happening. You're working with incredible organizations in all of your different programs. You've got a book coming out. There's just so
It's
many resources.
real. She pretty though. She pretty.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
So
It
Tim
looks like,
Lockey tells me that she looks like a tequila sunrise. Tim, if you're watching, shout out.
right? Yes, please. I love it. I love it. So talk to us, Dana.
Oh my gosh, so many things are happening. So, man, Julie, I feel like when you and I first met, I was definitely still in my digital marketing hat, which I still am. That still is
Mhm.
definitely at the crux of everything that I teach and everything I do, and is very much integrated into monthly giving. The tech and the digital marketing side is necessary in the promotion and the building.
Yes.
But in the past 2 years, I feel like as a monthly donor myself, like
Mm.
I've been giving in this way, I have loved it more and more. The technology, the subscription economy, which we can talk a little bit about, everything's created like this beautiful catalyst moment of why recurring giving now. I think that's what a lot of people are asking is why now?
Yep.
When technically in the 80s and beyond, like the sponsor a child model was popular. But really 2 years ago, I started asking a lot more questions around recurring giving, talking to a lot more partners about data, talking to nonprofits on my podcast when I was at events. And I just
Mm.
really got a lot of interest around the topic and understanding also what my habits were as a consumer
Hmm.
and my subscriptions and seeing the sustainability and the predictability of those funds. And then at the same time, this is kind of like brings us to where we are. In 2021, I joined a mastermind and it changed my world as a
Mm.
female entrepreneur, solopreneur. That 2020, 2021, right, was very like volatile, was second guessing decisions, was I started a whole separate business building a desk. Julie, I don't even know if you know that. I created
Yes, you told me. Yeah,
Okay,
I
I created a
remember.
oh, I do remember that, over our glass of wine. I created
Yeah.
a desk company that was wild, during manufacturing issues. Anyways, there was lots of like, "Who am I? What am I doing?
Mhm.
What do I love?" And I started Positive Equation, my business, in 2017. It'll be 8 years next March, which is
Congrats.
bananas. And I always said I wanted to amplify positive stories to create greater change.
Mm.
And there's no greater way that that can happen by micro philanthropists having the opportunity to feel like a philanthropist and what is the charitable living impact that that creates. So, my mastermind experience, this kind of like movement happening with the subscription economy and monthly giving is why I decided to write the book, do the summit, stake my services on this, and like really focus on doing as much research as possible and sharing that and learning with all the organizations that I come in touch with.
Yeah, I love it so much. And recurring giving is where it's at. I mean, because recurring revenue is where
Where
it's
it's
at.
at.
It's like, I mean, how many of us are so exhausted and constantly, I mean, we hear so much in the sector, especially about burnout, about the
Mhm.
turnover, about unrealistic expectations of fundraisers. And, even people who are looking to raise major gifts are like, yeah, I can't keep spending everything
Mhm.
that comes in so
Right.
quickly. Just the money doesn't stretch as far anymore, and we're growing as an organization. We need to raise more, and we need recurring giving. We need something
Yeah.
that's essentially going to be the backbone of what allows us to take bigger risks elsewhere. And so I feel like major giving and monthly giving, those having those two programs is just such a strong pairing,
Essential.
and yeah, the lifeblood of what you're doing. That I've seen it over and over with my own clients, where
Yeah.
if they already have a strong monthly giving program, then we can really focus a bit more on major donors, because they've got this down pat, where they're like, okay, great, we have our rhythm. We're stewarding well. We're telling stories. We're reporting back the differences. We're building
Yeah.
community amongst this group of monthly donors. And then the opposite is true, where if they're seeing a lot of success with major gifts, it could be a great opportunity and a great time to invest deeper in monthly donors and building that pipeline, so that you have some recurring revenue you can rely on, and you're not just like feast or famine mode,
Yeah,
you
at a
know?
high level, and, like, in any business will tell you this, is that you should have multiple revenue streams. You
Absolutely.
shouldn't be solely reliant on one, and so I do talk about this in the book, where there is a buy-in that has to happen from your staff to pursue and be persistent with recurring giving. Both to on major gifts, you have to follow up with that person, but likely that's a very, like, one-on-one touch point, and so you're able to cultivate
Right.
that maybe quicker, maybe,
Yep.
if you have a relationship built up. But grants, major giving, monthly giving, foundational support, if there's awards, like, there should be events, like, every type one-time gifts, every type of different revenue stream that you can have to be able to not be reliant solely on 1 or 2.
Yeah, I love that. I think even in, like, the ways in which I've seen it work so well, and actually make people's lives easier, is there's so many first time major donors that are in the current
Mhm.
monthly donor program,
Yes.
that somebody who's going to eventually give you 10K, 20K, 50K, whatever that major gift is likely going to give a significantly smaller gift up front.
Absolutely.
And more people are giving online. They're giving monthly. It just is so freaking convenient. And
That's a
you
big
feel
part of
like
it.
you're able to help the organization more, because it's like, okay, this is something that's I can expect month after month. I feel
Yes.
even better about giving, because they know I'm not really going anywhere.
Yes. Yeah, to your point about, and I'm sure you see this with your clients and when you're working with them and doing your consulting work. In the book, I interview Cubby Graham from Charity Water, and we specifically, like, talked about dispelling this myth about major donors, this myth of major donors won't give if they're monthly donors, and that's totally the opposite. Oftentimes, monthly donors will give multiple times one time if you ask them to.
Yep.
And he talks about specifically how one of their largest donors was a birthday Facebook fundraiser at the
Oh,
beginning. That's now like literally one of their largest donors. But he says it is their pool for being able to find people to customize messaging to say, "Hey, we've noticed you've been a monthly donor for X time or you give X much. We'd love to talk to you about," right? And you go up the ladder into
yep.
what would bring them into that next step. So 1,000,000,000%, you are not going to lose somebody, um, or not gain a gift. If their heart is in the impact in the work that you do, that's what's gonna prove that.
Yep. Why do you think that people make that mistake, that like, oh, well, we don't really have many major donors, but we have this like great monthly donor program, but the average gift is $25 a month. And making the mistake, like
Mm.
essentially writing off major donor prospects or thinking that what people are currently giving in a monthly donor program is likely all they're going to do, or that it would be a long shot for them to become a major donor. Like, why do you think that
Oh, I'll
is?
give you my answer, and then I'd love to hear yours too. Mine's fear. I think there's a lot of fear around just asking in general. And then especially taking that next step and then being in the mind and afraid of, oh, but what if now they cancel their monthly gift because I asked them to go to this next level, instead of the more positive mindset shift, which is, I know Mallory talks a lot about this and you too, on positive mindset talk before we go into the conversation. The instead of, let's not go down that rabbit hole, let's go up this one, right? What I would love to hear, I think the majority of the time it's fear.
Yeah, I hear all the time that I don't want to seem ungrateful. I don't want to seem greedy or grabby was a word that I heard today. Someone say, I don't want to come across grabby, like I'm out to just grab their money.
Oh,
That I'm asking for way too much. I'm asking for the moon. And that's going to be offensive. That if I ask for more, that I'm going to be perceived in a different light, that I'm going to ruin the relationship somehow, and they're not willing to risk that. And so they just kind of maintain the status quo. But it couldn't be further from the truth
yeah.
that, we know this in our own work where, ask people to step up increases the relationship. It strengthens it, right? It
I would
builds
be
the relationship.
honored for somebody to consider me to be able to make that type of impact in their work. I think it's also such an honor and privilege for somebody that cares so deeply about an organization to do that, to make that gesture if they're able to.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause I've yet to find someone, Dana, who was offended that I thought they were generous and
Oh, so
wealthier.
good.
Like, certainly there have been people who have maybe been offended by my approach or that I asked too soon. Like, offended might be a strong word. Like, the feedback that I got is, "Oh, this is just too quick for me. Like, I think I need more time, more experience with the organization to step up and give that level."
Mhm.
But no one has ever in my 15 years been offended that I thought they were wealthier and more generous than they actually
They
are.
are.
Like, people are like, they'll laugh. They'll like, I've gotten that, or they're like, "Oh, that's really sweet that you think I could give that. Like, I'm flattered." And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I perceive you
Right,
to
right,
be generous. I
right.
perceive you, and I say that my sense is this, and I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Does this really resonate with you?
yeah.
Is it something that you would be willing to step up and give at this level?
And
That's
talking
why
about, like, building the relationship, also going back to monthly giving, there's no greater way to do it where you're should be getting customized emails every single month. If you're getting quarterly videos from an ED or a founder, if you're receiving snail mail personalized to that program, you're likely should be receiving more touch points because of that contribution. If you get special invites to events, like custom content, like all of these things, happy birthday notes or happy 6-month anniversary for giving. So there are definitely milestones, I think, to where you could definitely consider an ask of a monthly donor to take it to the next step.
I like that. That's cool. So tell me who your book is for. Who is
Yeah.
this for? What impact are you hoping that it has? Like, what are the ways in which you think people can leverage this book for their own work?
So thank you for asking that. It is meant for literally every size organization. And I say that for a couple of reasons. One, I wrote this, yes, to share a framework that I teach in my monthly giving mastermind, which is why the book is called the Monthly Giving Mastermind. But also, it highlights 15 different organizations and their case studies and their stories of all different journeys of all different sizes of all different causes. I'm
Mhm.
talking about the Hope booth that I give monthly to. I think I was monthly donor number 28. So they're
Oh,
early
that's
on in
so
there.
cool that you know that.
Yeah, I asked, so they share, which is I am beyond grateful. They share how many monthly donors they have, their retention rate is in this book, specific case studies of
Wow.
how they've built their email list, the campaigns that they've done, the upsell campaigns. Like, so why I
Wow.
say it's for everyone is there's stories like Gloria Yamana, who also wrote the foreword. She's the founder of the Hope Booth, where I am number like 28 because she told me. And then all the way to the Charity Waters and IJM, UNICEF of the world who have
Mhm.
thousands and thousands. So the scale there is there. One, you can take this model and like for $20 DIY build your monthly giving program with the 5-step framework. If you're an organization who's like, we got one running. We're good. However, we're a bit stagnant. What's happening? How
Mhm.
do we grow? How do we take it to the next level? There's stuff in here for you. There's strategies. I have literally like templated SMS or text messages and email templates for
Wow.
things. Examples from organizations sharing their 12-month retention plans. Like
Nice.
we got into it. And then also for the enterprise level orgs, I think it's also powerful just to see like what's happening. I talk a lot in the beginning about the history and where we are in the subscription economy. I talk a lot about growth mindset. So even if you're a leader and you're just like need a nudge, the point of the book and why it's called a mastermind is because I hope that as what happens when people read books is they usually share them, they talk about them, you feel like you're part of a community, and that's what this is all about. So
Mhm.
often monthly giving for a lot of small teams especially is done siloed, and you
Mhm.
are looking from afar at another organization and wondering like, what did they do to
Mhm.
achieve that?
Yep.
How did that happen? And so I'm hoping at least with these 15 stories, it starts to uncover this. And then I invite people to join in the book. I've created a sustainer Slack group. And so there's over
Nice.
80 nonprofits in the group already, asking each other questions every single day, sharing social posts. How can I improve this language, giving each other advice, which is awesome. So it's meant to like cultivate community and accountability to
Mhm.
grow these programs. And then really like the last reason I did it was because online there's usually very generalized information about how to grow a monthly giving program, and you need like a book. There's no way I feel like somebody's going to download like a 300 ebook and actually like download it for
Yep.
free, complete it. There's something about paying for something, then two, having a physical copy of something and to be able to like write all over it and get in like your safe space, your intimate time to like read a book and dive into it. So in a long synopsis, that's why.
I love that. I especially love the case studies and all of the metrics and the specific examples and like spelling it out. And I think you and I are both share that we're super concrete
Yeah.
and like, yeah, I'm not really into theory, you know, like I want to know like what did you do?
Yeah.
What worked? What didn't work?
Work.
What did
Yeah.
you learn from that?
Yeah.
And, you know, I that just sounds like an absolute gold mine of I mean, what would it how would you acquire that information anyway? Like, would you go and interview those people? I mean, how many hours would it's like, this is incredible that you did all this work. I just absolutely love
Thanks.
that you put all that together. I'm a
It
huge
was
fan
so
of
fun. It was
studies.
honestly the best. I spaced them all out and over months. And it was honestly the best. I had so much fun in the conversations because I was like, "What? Really?" Like I'll never forget when I jumped on a call with Daily Giving. Never heard of the organization before, Jewish-led organization. They just created their organization 2019, 2020, right around there.
Mhm.
They now have 16,000 recurring donors.
Whoa!
They only, Julie, they only ask for recurring gifts.
Huh.
Their entire basis is that no one should go a day without giving back. And so
Hmm.
their model is one, we serve our members to do that. 2, the money goes to other nonprofits and the charitable impact that it
Wow.
makes. And I was just like, "Wait, I'm sorry, where do you find one-time gifts on your website?" And he's like, "We make it really hard to." And I was like, "Okay, this is cool." And I was like, "And and how often do you talk to them?" "Oh, we email them every single day and we let them know we're there." And I was like, "What are
Huh.
your open rates?" "Great open rates." "What's your retention rate?" "Great retention rate." And I was like, literally blowing my mind. And like every single
Mm.
organization has multiple stories of this. And I remember sitting there because I was out at a coffee shop for our first conversation. And I was just like, I'm sorry. I need to like quick pause and actually like download what you just told me.
Mhm.
So cool.
Yeah. Wow. So what's the first thing that folks do when they're like, "Okay, great. This like I'm in this monthly giving mastermind, like I get it. Like we want to start." What's the first thing that they need to do?
So the first part of the framework I call it is create a product. And the first part of that is why do you want a monthly give? Why specifically? What is it going to do for your organization? Why do you want it? Why does it exist? Because you're going to need to explain that to everyone that's going to sign up for it. What's your value proposition? And then two, what's the structure of your program? So, for example, like daily giving only has recurring gifts. Other organizations I work with are the structure could be I worked with a climate change organization, and that's a very large thing to think about. And so there's not specific necessarily like impact numbers that you can put on a form as to what's going to do what. And
Mm.
so I was like, well, what if instead we did $1 a day is working to end or to do climate change? And that is much more like every single day I am saying, like, I believe this is part of me. This is my value identity. So the
Mm.
why, the structure, and then the realization that you're creating a product. Like I don't know, it's here, an AirPod, right? This is a
Mm.
product. There's a reason very specific. I'm sure Apple went into lots of design testing with this. The color of it, the price point of it, how the copy of it, how it was going to be marketed. There's a team behind it. Even if that's one person, you just have to realize that a product makes you have to make all these decisions. Um, and it takes time. So
Yep.
I would say understanding like those 3 principles.
Mm. That's great. I love it. And I mean, anybody can do that. Obviously, they need to work with you if they want to do it like amazingly and not, and learn like basically get the fast track for learning and for results, right? Like you could DIY, which I love that you're doing that with your book because some people are going to do that and that's going
Yeah.
to be fine.
And some people are great. Some people have their own design teams. I also, with the Monthly Giving Summit and launching a mini mastermind. So there are some organizations that already have programs, you already have the website, you already have the donation tools, you already like da 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 da, all the things. But you feel stuck or you need like motivation or you just want to learn from others. And so the mini mastermind is literally 2 group coaching calls a month. And then I'm sharing 4 social media templates that are designed specifically around sharing your monthly giving and getting new people a part of the program. So you'll have new template assets to use every single month. So it's the one thing that came from now that I'm 4 rounds into the mastermind is we have reunion calls. So after one ends, the new group gets to join the reunion calls and they're quarterly. And the one in the spring, I'll never forget one of the organizations said, we were just talking about ideas of how to ask people to become monthly donors during their next big event. And she's like, gosh, Dana, if I could just like have you in my ear once a month. And I was like, hmm,
Mhm.
okay, how do we do this? Like, how do I make this happen? So it's
Mhm.
a much less, it's like 250 a month. It's a 6-month minimum. You get in this container. It's what it is. It's a mini mastermind. And that's the power of it is now that there's so many people that have gone through the mastermind, sometimes I'm pretty quiet on the call and they're all sharing ideas with each other.
Mm.
And that's the beauty. They now have had experience in growing their programs and have tried different things that it's not just me. That's sure, I'll share some things, but like the true benefit is all the people sitting around you on the screen.
Yep. I love that. How do people get into that? How do they need to apply? What do they need to do?
Yes. So there is an application. And actually, I'll share this link if you want to put it in the comments. So I'll send it to you. Oh, actually, wait, can I do it? Oh, I can do it.
Oh, look at
Maybe.
that.
Or I can share it on my YouTube, but here, I'll send it with you. I can go everywhere else. Um, so they apply, but if you order a copy of the book between now and September 20th, you will be entered into a giveaway of a spot in the mini mastermind coming up this fall for 3 months for free. So that's worth
Nice.
$750. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's fun. I
Thought
love
that'd be a
it.
fun little touch.
I love it. And so talk about the summit because that's pretty epic. And
Mm.
I know you have a lot of things launching. I feel like there's 5 of you, given how much you do. I feel like you have secret clones. To be honest with you, I do think that.
You know what's wild about that though, which I hear that a lot, and to be fair, like so it's 4:30 here Eastern time. Today, Daniel, my husband, is picking up Kennedy, but normally I'm the one that picks her up in the afternoon. And
Mhm.
so my day normally ends at like 4 to be able to pick her up because homegirl's in bath 6:30, bedtime at 7. And I don't work in those hours. And I sometimes work at night, but not all the time. Now I definitely am because of the summit. Um, I have hired good people, part-time, I will say, VAs. Like, I am not this, like, a massive machine that I think is you don't have to be. If you can figure out what you love to do and then outsource the things that you don't like to do or that people are much better at than you do. So,
Yep.
for all of the solo nonprofits, small shops out there, it's totally doable. But the summit, I'm super excited. And I just pulled some stats today that I can share with you as a little teaser. So in registration, I asked everyone how many monthly donors they have. And I think there's now about 1,600 registrants.
Wow.
They collectively have over 2 million monthly donors. The average, yeah, isn't that cool? The average recurring donor size is about 1,600. Um, and then I also, yeah, across 31 countries.
Wow.
France, Nigeria, Thailand, Brazil. I was like,
Wow.
"What?" I was like, "How?" It's part of it is the podcast because I see that on the and I'm guessing that's where it's from, but I'm just also blown away.
Wow.
So it's gonna be the reason for it is kind of similar to what I saw online. Every single conference or webinar, virtual, in person, there's a sliver of like a session on recurring giving, right?
Mhm.
But this is literally, I think, the thing that is going to like shake up the industry to sustain itself.
Yeah.
And so why not have a conference solely dedicated to the thing that I think is like one of the most important fundraising elements for organizations and to learn from one another. So I just gathered very much so from the book. Like there's panels where it's nonprofits moderating nonprofits
Mm.
and talking to each other about what they're doing. One of the favorite things, it was a panel, it was pre-recorded because it has IJM UK, UNICEF Australia, Charity Water. So the time zones were real funky.
Right.
And at the end, I didn't tell him I was going to do this, but at the very end, I said, "Do you all have questions for each other? I know it's really rare for you to be able to be on a screen together like this." Boom, 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 like
Mm.
immediately. And then afterwards, like, "I really want to connect on that. I really want to talk to you more about what this is." And that is literally the point.
Wow. I Dana, I love that so much. The like collaboration. I mean, I think that people who are maybe we've been told or we perceive as competitors are actually willing to be so much more collaborative and to share
Oh,
best
yeah.
practices and what's working for them and what isn't. And you know, I just freaking love that.
That's the whole point of day 2. So day 1 is like there's panels, keynotes. Day 2 is one-on-one networking, and there's breakout rooms. There's 5 breakout rooms, the first one. That's all based on how many monthly donors do you have. You're gonna enter the room if you're pre-launch, 1 to 100, 101 to 1,000. There's a 10,000 plus room. You're gonna go into your room, and it's hot seats. There's 2 co-hosts. They will help moderate. They'll give ideas, but it's really like, come on screen and you're getting ideas from your peers. It's the whole point.
Yep. I love that. I just wrapped a 2-day live workshop on your end of year major gift strategy. And that's a lot of what it was just like collaboration and asking for ideas and sharing best practices of like, hey, this is how I build relationships with major donors. This is how I get people to give their best gifts. This is what I've been doing to like language I've been using to get a meeting that I haven't been able to get in like 5 years with this specific donor. Like people are just like, yeah, this is what I do. This is what's working for us. Let me just tell you what it is and be really clear and explicit and practical that you could just implement right away. And so, yeah, I mean, needless to say, I just love that you're creating that space and you're doing it for, at scale. You're doing this for over 1,000, close to 2,000 people.
Hopefully by the time of next week, we'll be over over 100 people like RSVP'd today. So hopefully by, it'll be 2,000 people.
Wow. So good. If you are listening to this, you need to go and sign up right now and get your spot. You do not want to miss being a part of this summit. If you are considering joining the mastermind, if you are considering starting a monthly giving program, you should be, then you need to be there. And Dana brings together so many incredible, collaborative, generous, intelligent, effective leaders. So go and get your spot. Sign up.
It's free. No excuses.
Hello. No excuses. That's right. I love it.
You're the best.
The book, can they pre-order it? How do they do that?
Yes. The book comes out on the 3rd, literally after Labor Day weekend. It's live and live in color. It'll be out. So you can pre-order it now. You can just go to the link there, or you can just search on Amazon or barnesandnoble.com, whatever you prefer. And it'll be to you next week.
So good. I love it. I'm going to buy a bunch of them for my clients.
You're getting one too.
Because I'm special. Awesome. And if you want to learn how to start a major gifts program, if you want to get the courage to overcome some of the things that we've been talking about, the fear, the noise in your head that's telling you that you're going to sabotage the relationship if you ask for more, it's totally normal. There's no judgment. I invite you to join me inside Courage Lab. It's my 6-week major gifts program that teaches you the major gift basics and fundamentals, how to get a meeting, how to have a meeting, how to ask for more, how to steward relationships, how to engage your board members in fundraising in a meaningful way. And it's done in 6 weeks. So that's what makes it different. If you want to go fast and if you want to take action and get a better mindset, and build your confidence, your courage level, join me September 10th. You can go to my website and sign up.
And coming up.
Woohoo! Yes. So many amazing things happening.
Yeah.
We're just out here, Dana.
So good to see you. Cannot wait to grab a nice Cabernet with you next time I see you.
I would just love it. Thank you, my friend, for all that you do for the sector and for leaders who are just building more generous communities. It's just incredible what you're doing. So cheers to you.
Right back at you. We do it together, right?
Yes. Yes. And don't forget to sign up for the monthly summit. Do it.
Yes. So good to see you.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.